IVM.
Hey guys, welcome to the Positively Unlimited podcast. In today's episode, I'm talking about something that some of us may have experienced at some point of our life in a very specific relationship. Well, I'm talking about our love life, I'm talking about a romantic relationship, but this is the one the one in which you experienced a lot of push and pull. The one that you tried to call off many times, the one that you tried to let go of many times, and yet every now and then you found yourself right back at the very spot that you were trying to walk away from. I call today's episode On and Off. It's about breaking up and making up over and over again. It's about trying to understand whether your relationship has, run out of time, or also trying to understand what is it that is drawing you back to this person over and over again. Well, as a ground rule, let me say this. If you are trying to make a relationship work, if you want to make a relationship work, then stop breaking up. Stop calling it off every time something is not going your way, or every time your partner or a particular situation is slamming a fear button within you, a button that says, oh my God, you're going to get stuck in the wrong relationship. Oh my God, you're going to be treated wrongly, right? So breaking up is, not a way to make something work. If you're in it, you are in it. Stop looking at the exit door. Stop opening that exit door every time. Stop stepping out of it when you know that you're going to step right back in. So now that I have that out of the way, that's a ground rule that I'm putting aside for a moment. I'm going to dive into talking about those relationships where you know that it's too volatile. You know that things are not working out. It seems like there's too many things that are against the relationship than for the relationship, including the two people in the relationship. And yet you break up and in a few days you go back crawling to the person, or there's this emotional drama that plays out and you get back together. Now, in this kind of a scenario, you want to firstly ask yourself, do you want to make this relationship work? And at what cost? What is the price you are willing to pay? The second scenario is when you know that your relationship is too volatile, when you know that a lot of things in this relationship are unhealthy, they are what we would call toxic, and yet you are choosing to stay in it, or yet you are choosing to hold on to it. Well, ask yourself, what is going on with you? What is at play? One, is it that you are afraid that you will be alone all your life? Well, let me just say it aloud. That's an illusion. That is your brain just playing games with you. There's no such thing. You will find love again. Secondly, do you think you will not find anyone better than this person? Well, if that's your scenario, I want you to list down everything that is so awesome about this person with whom you're having such a toxic relationship or such a volatile relationship. Write down everything that is awesome about them and ask yourself, will you really not find this in somebody else? The third thing to consider is, are you just too used to this relationship? Are you just too used to this person? Is this the only reality you have known for so long? And the fourth scenario is to relook at the narrative that you have created around this relationship. Why are you tolerating bad behavior? Or why are you tolerating being treated badly? Or why are you suffering in a relationship that is so unhealthy? Is it because the picture in your mind of being in a relationship and living a particular life, and if this relationship ends, then that will be a complete failure? That picture will come crashing down. Is it that that is not acceptable to you? Is failing not acceptable to you? Now, I know that what I'm talking about, the kind of push and pull and this kind of on and off that I'm talking about, may not just be about two people dating or two people in a relationship. I could also be speaking to married people right now who are in bad marriages. ask yourself what is making you stay together. If your answer is, oh, we're together for the kids, then make that choice very, very consciously. Because you could be doing more harm to your kids than good, firstly. Secondly, your kids may not thank you for this at some point in their life. They may turn around and just tell the two of you that you all were fools to do that in the first place. Or thirdly, you need to stop making your children as an excuse to continue living a bad life, to continue not facing your inner demons and building up your strength and overcoming your weaknesses. Yes, I know that what I'm talking about is not so simple. This particular episode is not easy. It's going to, hit some triggers for some of us. And I want you to know that if you need to reach out to me, my handle is Positivity Angel on Instagram. I almost always respond. But I also want you to think about this entire on and off situation that you have placed yourself in. A lot of times we continue to stay in this because we'd much rather stay in limbo than take a tough decision. Look, let's be honest. Nobody wants to take tough decisions because tough decisions are usually painful. They are usually traumatic for a lot of us. And, they come with a bunch of consequences. And not all of us are ready for that, which is why we go through this push and pull kind of situation, which is why we are on today, off tomorrow. But at some point, you're going to have to take a stand for yourself. You're going to have to decide for yourself whether this is something that you want to live with. Is this the life you want to be living? Is this the relationship that you dreamed of? Is this the relationship that you want to have? A lot of us are also in the on and off game simply because we cannot accept that what we thought of this person or what we thought of our relationship is not how it turned out to be. And that just accepting this truth is, it's almost impossible for so many of us. That's my 2 pence on the whole on today, off tomorrow kind of situation. However, I also have one other angle of this on and off story that I want to share with you today. A lot of us who have been single for too many years are finding ourselves in new relationships in our 30s and 40s. Now, in this scenario, we are facing a lot of yes and no, on today, off tomorrow, I can do this, I can't do this kind of conversations and kind of situations because both people who are involved, each one of us has had our journey. Each one of us is meeting the other with a bag full of fears. And somewhere in our behavior, in our reactions, in our responses, in our conversations, in the experiences that we are having together, we are slamming each other's triggers. Now, when you do this, one of the two makes a run for it, only to come back after a few months saying, look, I was wrong to go away. I want to give this another try. I want to make this work. So for the single people who are experiencing this with somebody specific and it's been happening for the last 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, you want to really tap into what you feel for this person. Not the story that you have in your head which says that I can have an ex life with this person, but rather what do you feel for this person at this point of time? Not what you felt for them 6 months ago, not what you felt for them when you first met them, but what do you feel for them right now? So if two of you have parted ways 3 months ago, only to come back to go on another date because one person turned around and said, look, I miss you. Can we meet one more time? Or I want to make this work. I was wrong then. Can we meet one more time? Well, you can meet, but when you are sitting there, you want to look at the situation and the person from a completely fresh perspective with a completely clean slate. You need to ask yourself, what do I feel for this person? Why am I attracted to this person? What is this person bringing to the table? What is it that I want to experience? Is this person talking the same language as me? Make sure that you're asking yourself these questions, which at that point will seem very tough because this idea of somebody coming back to you it's romanticized. It feels good. It feels good to be missed and to think that somebody that you liked so much and you thought there was potential with, but who made a run for it, suddenly wants to give this another go. Just be careful to ask yourself the right questions and ask this person the right questions. A lot of us who are, finding the appropriate partner in our 30s and in our 40s, we are going through this. It's kind of up and down. Some of us are, in new age terms, it's what we call being ghosted. I'm also going to say this before I make a run for it myself. If you have been ghosted, yes, that term when somebody just disappeared on you, and if that person comes back after a few weeks or a few months, don't just let them in. Make sure you ask them the right questions. Make sure you tell them that you don't appreciate being ghosted. Make sure you let them know that they will have to work to earn your trust from now on. Because if you just open the door and let them in, then you're stepping into the on today, off tomorrow game. It is not okay for somebody to ghost you. It is bad behavior. And if somebody behaves in that manner, then you are right to question them. And if they don't like it, then they can leave. They can walk out the door that they tried to enter. It's as simple as that. So don't let your emotions come in the way in this particular scenario for sure. Work from the head in this space because you need to protect yourself first from somebody who, showed you in the very first instance that they are not reliable. On that note, I'm going to head out of here. I'm sorry if this episode seemed a little harsh for some people. I'm sending you tight hugs. Like I said, if you want to talk to me about something, you can reach out to me on my Instagram handle, Positivity Angel. You can also reach out to us on IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, all previous episodes are on the IVM Podcast website and app.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Want to wish you all a happy Diwali. Hope you had a great festive season. It's been a great week in terms of the kinds of guests we've had and the kind of conversations we've had on the network this week. Do definitely check some of these things out. On This Round's on Me with Gauri Devi Dayal. She had a great conversation with Garima Arora, who's one of the best-known chefs in the world. It was just absolutely riveting. Do check that out. On States of Anarchy, Hamsini Hariharan spoke about chronicling India's different wars. Again, really interesting episode. Check that out. Ashton had a very interesting episode on his show, The Habit Coach. It was called I Don't Feel Like Doing Anything. It's about how to overcome malaise just generally, and I thought really, really interesting stuff. Kumi Vayana was the guest on Cyrus Says on Monday's episode last week, and she's an educator, and my God, it was such a fascinating conversation talking about the way education functions in India and some of the changes she'd like to see. Just really, really interesting stuff. Do give that a listen. On Uncle Please Sit, Anupam Manur was there with Joel and Tushar talking about the Indian economy, part one of a two-part series. Second part will be out this week. You should definitely check that out. Lastly, I want to talk to you all about the Filter Coffee podcast. Karthik Nagarajan, who hosts that show, was on a little bit of a break. He's back with a banger of an episode. It is with Himura Maya, who used to run Landmark Stores, and they talk about the culture of bookstores and quizzing and all kinds of stuff. Really interesting conversation. Do check that out. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
How many times have you motivated yourself to improve your sleep or lose weight or be more productive? How many times have you failed? Hi, my name is Ashton Doctor. Tune into my show, The Habit Coach Podcast, where we focus on creating small, tiny habits to improve your life instead of those big, impossible tasks. So make listening to me a habit every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or on your favorite podcasting app.